Halo, what have they done to you? You used to be every little boy's dream, full of amazing spectacles, excellent stories,
Miss you.
Wake me when you need me.
and the coolest protagonist in existence.
What if you miss?
I won't.
Now you're just a sad excuse for a video game adapted show. Although you can't even call it a video game adaptation because the director didn't even play any of the games. You know, to actually understand what he was making. They try so hard to make this Game of Thrones with all the stupid politics, weird pedo characters, and sex in Halo. No, that's not cool, man. Anyway, let's get right to these few points I came up with while reading the books and playing the games. You know, the ones the show is based on? Oh, the Silver Timeline. That makes it okay. No, it doesn't. That's just the most lazy, stupid excuse for making a god-awful piece of trash that you didn't even bother to research. And you definitely didn't bother to think about what the fans might actually want. Because no, everybody has to make their mark and make it their own. Here's an idea. Maybe if you actually put in the effort to make something that will actually be appreciated by its fans, then you will make your mark. Because everyone will love you and want you to keep making more content. Anyway, I'm rambling. Okay, number 1. They didn't wipe the Spartans' minds when they abducted them. In fact, someone wanted Halsey to mind wipe them, but she essentially said no, because what if one day they found out they were taken? They'd be pissed and probably kill Halsey.
You kidnapped me. You replaced me with something.
We will find the answers. I will explain everything, okay?
So instead, they took the kids and just instantly started working them and training them so hard so that they wouldn't have time to think about what had happened or whether or not it was wrong. She gave them a purpose. Halsey isn't some evil person who just does evil things for no reason. Throughout the books, it goes into a lot of detail about her struggling with what she did and trying to figure out whether it was worth it. In the Fall of Reach book, here's a snippet of the Master Chief's thoughts when he was like 14. He thought about the place that had been his home, his parents. But more and more that seemed like a dream. John knew it wasn't, and that he had once had a different life. But this was the life he wanted. He was a soldier, and he had an important job to train for. He also doesn't have an inhibitor chip to make him not feel. He's not a clone. In fact, he has a lot of emotions that he keeps in check because he's a well-trained, badass soldier. Alright, let's go to number 2. Spartan 117 didn't never take his armor off. He just didn't like not having it because it enhanced his mind and reflexes so much he felt weird without it. Here's the part of the Fall of Reach book that talks about that. He didn't like the flashy ornamentation. He and the other Spartans preferred to be inside their Mjolnir armor. Without it, he felt exposed somehow, like he left his quarters without his skin.
You told me there wouldn't be any cameras.
You told me you were gonna wear something nice.
You look nice.
Thank you.
See, that makes sense, right? In the stupid show, he rarely wears his armor. He almost never wears his helmet. And he goes full buck-ass nude multiple times. Anyway, that's all I have for that. Number 3. This is kind of a two-banger. Number 1, Cortana can't control his body.
Shutting down neural bridge.
Let me just make sure we understand. Cortana cannot control the Master Chief. And the second part to this point, is Halsey didn't secretly clone her own body just so her secretary could diddle her until they killed her to make Cortana. No, that's not what happened at all. In fact, Halsey convinced Oni, also known as Office of Naval Intelligence, to clone her brain. Not her body, her brain, so she could create an AI with the smartest brain around, hers. So here's the last section where it talks about both these issues when Halsey gives Cortana to John. Here's Halsey speaking. Her presence will allow you to utilize the suit more effectively. John had a sudden flash. AIs handled a great deal of point defense during naval operations. Can she control the Mjolnir armor? He wasn't sure he liked that. No, Cortana resides in the interface between your mind and the suit, Master Chief. You will find your reaction time greatly improved. She will be translating the impulses in your motor cortex directly into motion. She can't make you send those impulses. And here's how Cortana was made. Here's another book section. Cortana was a smart AI, an advanced artificial construct. Actually, the terms smart and dumb as applied to AIs were misleading. All AIs were extraordinarily intelligent, but Cortana was special. So-called dumb AIs were engineered to function within set limits of their dynamic memory processing matrix. They were brilliant within their fields of expertise, but were lacking in creativity. Smart AIs like Cortana, however, had no limits in their dynamic memory processing matrix. Knowledge and creativity could grow unchecked. She would pay a price for her genius, however. Such growth eventually led to self-interference. Cortana one day would literally start thinking too much at the expense of her normal function. It was as if a human were to think with so much of his brain that he stopped sending impulses to his heart and lungs. Like all the other smart AIs that Dr. Halsey had worked with over the years, Cortana would effectively die after an operational life of 7 years. But Cortana's mind was unique among all the other AIs Dr. Halsey had encountered. An AI's matrix was created by sending electrical bursts through the neural pathways of a human brain. Those pathways were then replicated in a superconducting nanoassemblage. The technique destroyed the original human tissue, so they could only be obtained from a suitable candidate that had already died. Cortana, however, had to have the best mind available. The success of her mission and the lives of the Spartans would depend on it. At Dr. Halsey's insistence, Oni had arranged to have her own brain carefully cloned and her memories flash transferred to the receptacle organs. Only one of the 20 cloned brains survived the process. Cortana had literally sprung from Dr. Halsey's mind, like Athena from the head of Zeus. So there you have it. Just a few things that the show decided to go in the complete opposite direction of, just to make a disappointing mess. I don't think that whenever adapting a book or game, you have to always follow along completely. But when the original content has better and smarter solutions and reasons for why things are the way that they are, why not follow suit? And if you watch the show, knowing all these things, it really feels like it's not that they didn't do research, it's that they did and chose to do the exact opposite of most of the things they found. Because there's no way they coincidentally, literally exact opposite, they talk about Cortana being able to control him, and they're like, no, she can't. Insurrectionists, that's another thing. The insurrectionists are bad, not the UNSC, not Halsey, the insurrectionists. Maybe I'll go into more detail as to why and how that is in another video. But for now, just remember, they're not the good rebels fighting the evil empire like the show depicts. That's just not correct. That is so stupid. They murder thousands of civilians. So yeah, if you think that's a good guy thing, then, well...
FBI, open up!
Anyway, this is my first scripted kind of monologue video where I actually put thought into my words. I went off the rails a lot though, but, it's my first time, and it took quite a bit of time. So if you did enjoy it, please give her a like and maybe a subscribe. You know, so that next time I do one of these, you can catch it and then tell your dad and mom and 17 brothers and sisters and your cat about it too. Just kidding. You don't have a cat because you're not a psychopath. Alright, anyway. Thanks, bye.